Welcome back. We are on day 4 of Tina's 12 Days of Christmas Chaos to Calm Challenge. Today, we're going to be talking about a practice, an exercise that's based in cognitive reframing that can then help you create some affirmations that you can hold on to during these potential stressful times, right? Affirmations can come in handy to kind of start off your day, but they can also be helpful leading up to a stressful event or after a stressful conversation or whatever it is that might be going on with you these holidays. So, in order to get started, I'm going to ask that you guys pull out some pen and paper, whatever you have available for you. And I'm going to guide you through this cognitive reframing practice. And then we can identify where we can create some affirmations that you will then take away for yourself. So, Sophie, you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So, what we're going to start with is I want you guys to first take just a deep breath in and out through your mouth, push it all the way out. If we were to have a moment to think about a particular thought that is kind of running through your head and is stressful, this can be related to maybe an upcoming Christmas party, to anticipating certain conversations with family and friends, or just something that you have going on right now, whether it's work related or just in your own home related, whatever it is. What is something that's stressing you out right now that you're kind of stuck on? Let's identify that thought, and I'm going to give you a few seconds to write that down. Okay, so now that we've identified that thought, I want you to have a really deep think about what are some of the feelings that come with that thought. Now, this can't be, I don't like this. It has to actually be feeling where it's like, oh, I feel like X, Y, and Z. So and so did X, Y, and Z. No, let's just identify the feelings. I feel angry. I feel ashamed. I feel sad. I feel lost. What are some different feeling words that come up for you around the specific thought that you're feeling quite stressed about? Okay. So normally what I would do in this session is I would encourage you to either do some square breathing or to do a body scan. Square breathing is one of in our previous episodes, so you're more than welcome to take a look at that. We're going to have a body scan coming up in a little bit. So just for the sake of time on this episode, we're going to do a couple of deep breaths. It's going to be all in through your nose and very slowly out through your nose. So deep breath in and out through your nose, as long as you can make it. Then a deep breath in and then out through your nose. And then a deep breath in and out through your nose. All right, let's return back to the prompt. Now I want you to take a moment to think about this idea, these thoughts that are bringing a lot of stress with them. Can we find evidence that goes against it? Is there something that maybe isn't quite totally true about it? Is there evidence that doesn't support it? Is there another perspective? We could potentially take a look at this. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to agree, but is there something that can challenge this thought as it not being in the end all be all truth? Give you a few seconds to write about that. Great. Okay. So from here, we've kind of come up with a little bit of evidence, something that suggests that this isn't necessarily the end all be all truth. I want you to take a second to imagine if this problem was magically fixed, if it wasn't here, or if this thought wasn't here, what would be some of the emotions or the experience that you would be then having? What would be some of the thoughts that you would carry? We're going to do two things here. What are the thoughts that you'd be having once the situation is resolved? And then what are the feelings that come with the new sense of change? Great. So now I'm just going to walk us through a review here. We've labeled something that's stressing us out, that is a thought. Doesn't necessarily mean it's reality, but the feelings that come with it are very real, and we've been able to label those and let ourselves feel those in our body. And then we've been able to challenge it a little bit and come up with evidence or different perspectives that maybe go against what it is that we're kind of stuck on. And then we took it all the way to the other end of the spectrum of this problem is magically resolved. It's gone away. What did that look like? What were some of the thoughts we had and what were the feelings that came with that? Now I want to bring us back into the middle from over here, super, super stressed to over here, everything's resolved and fantastic. I want to bring us back into a more realistic place in the middle. And I want us to start to kind of reframe that original thought that was not so supportive, maybe a little bit negative or really stuck in one place. And I want us to reframe that. How could we reframe it to be something a little bit more supportive, a little bit more encouraging? I do want to make the note that we are not just writing the opposite thought of when everything is all happy go lucky and totally resolved, because we know that's not reality. And that's not something that your brain will be able to kind of process and grasp onto as easily since you're kind of stuck in this different place. Give us a few seconds for that. This could be something as simple as, right, we're feeling really nervous about the conversations we're going to have with our family coming up around Christmas. It can be, my family just they're not aware and understanding, but that is not a reflection of me as a person and of my value as a person, right? That's rather than saying, my family's going to talk shit to me at family, events about my status of, my relationships, my job, all these things. We could say my family is super accepting of all those things, right? That's the complete opposite, but we know that's not realistic. So we need to come up with something in the middle of, my family they struggle with their own awareness, and their awareness and their ability to understand things is not a true reflection of my value and who I am as a person. And that doesn't matter in terms of what I bring to the relationship, right? Very different kind of segue, different reframe. This can take a little bit of practice. This is why we really encourage you guys to maybe use some of the resources that we have as timeisnotahealer.com, because we walk through this cognitive practice. We also have a workbook that goes along with this episode. It takes a little bit of time to kind of get the hang of it. Feel free to share it with your friends, get some help from people, those that you trust and your loved ones. But once you have a list of those reframe thoughts, these are your new affirmations for the holidays. This is what you're going to remind yourself before you go to a family holiday party, before you have conversations with family, or whatever it is. Maybe it's not even holiday related, but it's something that you can practice every morning to give yourself just a little bit greater sense of control over what's happening in your world and a more sense of calm and grounding amongst all the chaos. So before we wrap up, Sophie, how did you feel about the exercise?
It was great. Thank you for guiding us through. It definitely helped me identify a different outlook on the problem that I was having.
Amazing. Yeah. And guys, I know that this sometimes takes a little bit of tweaking and playing with, but it is definitely possible. And it is a really great cognitive exercise to work yourself through, because at the end of the day, right, time doesn't heal things. We have to be responsibility for our own healing and how we're showing up in the world. And this is one of the most powerful ways you can do that. So hoping that this helps you during the crazy holiday season, and we'll see you on the next one.